Little preface here before we start the episode. We recorded this a week early due to vacation schedules and making sure all three of us could be together in the episode. And right after we recorded it on Sunday, the 20th of September, the following Monday, some huge news dropped from Microsoft. And they have purchased ZeniMax, including all of the Bethesda gaming properties, for $7.5 billion. This is huge. Figured I might have to quick give an update before the show starts so you're not wondering, why are they not talking about this atomic bomb news? Well, we're going to talk about it for sure. And we'll do so in the next episode. Until then, enjoy the show. It's a good one. You're listening to a band of gamers podcasting since 2012. Three older best mates share a few laughs and keep you current with discussions about the latest news, consoles, and games. Join the conversation and the community. abandofgamers.com. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to ABOG. How's it going?
Hey!
That's right. We have got another really good episode because it's an exciting time in the world. The consoles are coming. And PlayStation laid out the details, mainly the price and the release date of that console. They also had a little bit of a presser to go along with it, a bunch of games they talked about, some new, some not so new, or that they've talked about before, but we're going to go all the way through all that, have a little chat about that console and if we're buying it, how we're thinking about it. I love this. I love when the consoles are coming. It's like Christmas. I feel like I'm 4 again, waiting for the presents under the tree. It's exciting.
Right?
Yeah.
Already left a couple of carrots out on a plate.
Yeah.
A couple of mince pies.
Some cookies. Man, I'd tear the shit out of some cookies right now. I haven't had a cookie in a long time.
Really?
Santa ain't getting nothing. I'd be eating that when no one's looking. We've also got a few games to talk about. Couple special ones, let's say. Well, one special one at least. I'm not sure about this WWE 2K Battlegrounds. I want to hear Shane talk about that. But
WWE.
Coaxed Shane into, he's got this, our Instagram is phenomenal. It's got all these great like games that I never heard of. Some of them are quirky. He's got a great gaming shelf. And he's going to talk about one of those games. Looks like it might be a pretty damn good game too, so we won't spoil it here now. Just have to wait until we get there. Karl's got Rise of the Tomb Raider. No e-penis, no easy PlayStation Platinum trophies, and we'll probably share what we're drinking. Why not? That's what we do. Well, I'm Joel, your MC, one of your 3 co-hosts, recording in Brookfield, Wisconsin, USA. Joining me on this podcast journey, first of all, from Vancouver, Canada, the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour. It's Shane. What's going on, Shane?
Oh, man, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me on again. I appreciate that. I'm going to try to pour a beer. I'm going to do my best not to wear this one.
In Birmingham, England, Commander Data himself. It's Karl. Hey, Karl.
Hello. Yeah, not as cool as Commander Data this week, as my eyes have glazed over. It's been a week of monotonous, just data input. Right? It's been tough times, so I'm looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to a nice cool beer.
There you go. Well, let's get right into it here. Sony, PlayStation. They had a little bit of a video conference. What do you call these things they do now, right? They just hit play on a video somewhere and everybody watches it at the same time kind of thing.
I guess so. I think it was still a state of play, I guess, is what they're calling these now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, they showed a bunch of games. At the end of it, they revealed the price, the release date. You want to start by talking through the games, guys? How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right. Final Fantasy. Roman numerals, 16.
16.
All right. You guys care about this?
Yes.
Every time there's a new one announced, I'm always like, oh, yeah, a new Final Fantasy. A good way for them to open the press conference, but it was all captured on PC, on the kind of the PS5 emulation, if you like, just cinematic stuff. And they announced there it was like PS5 and PC. But then afterwards, there was like some rumblings, a few little tweets, and some stuff going on that maybe it's a timed exclusive. Perhaps it's not just PS5. So the first kind of again, didn't blow me away. It looked kind of cool. I'm already confused with the Final Fantasy storyline. Like, there's so much stuff that goes on there. I guess if you like the genre, certainly if you like the series, you're probably going to be into it. But it does sound like it's going to hit other consoles as well.
Nice to see Final Fantasy on the PlayStation, though. It's a great way to start. Good way to start a press conference. A little better than Grand Theft Auto Online or whatever the last one started with.
Right.
Yeah, it does seem like it has. It's it was the old home. So it's nice to see that first reveal. On the PlayStation for whatever it means. I mean, in the end of the day, it's going everywhere, but whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people like their Final Fantasies. I'm sure there's some excitement there. Then right after that, they showed Spider-Man Miles Morales, which they announced, or I didn't realize, will be a launch title. It'll be on day one. So fine, good. If you're going to buy a new box, you better have something to back it up. You need something to put in there right away and play.
And what a hell of a game to have on day one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could. I wasn't expecting this to be a day one, to be honest. I know they kept banding around holiday 2020. Again, I wasn't expecting anything to see from this initially, but it did look like it was cinematic. Kind of came through, kind of like just Miles coming out of his apartment, and he was just walking through. I think they were in. I forget which part of New York is Harlem, wasn't it? They're kind of walking through there, and it's like it's kind of one of those Uncharted style of intermission scenes where you can't really do a lot other than move the character around. But again, it looked really pretty, and it looks like this in the story. Miles Morales' mom is running for office in Harlem, and she's trying to compete against this kind of underground group, terrorist organization. Now, the thing that I thought was interesting about this, if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, you'll know that Doc Ock in that is a lady, and the leader of this underground group that was trying to, in the cinematic, well, actually it was gameplay, I suppose, but in the trailer that we saw, was kind of the leader of this group, which I thought was interesting. Maybe they are kind of playing into the Spider-Verse world. A great way to get Miles in. Brilliant movie, it's just an absolutely 10 out of 10 masterpiece. So leaning on that for the game is probably a really good idea, I think.
And how cool did that, like that Christmas market that you're walking through? Man, that looks so good.
Yeah,
a little bit of snow on there. It's nice, man. We're getting into the season in a few months.
Yeah, one of the best PlayStation 4 games too, the Spider-Man game. One of the better games of the entire generation, I thought. So more Spider-Man, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
And apparently they announced a little later that it's also going to be available on the PlayStation 4, which a lot of people suspected.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a launch title on PS5, but also coming to PS4. I suppose it's going to look and run a little better on the PlayStation 5, but the Spider-Man game on PlayStation 4 ran pretty damn well. I can't imagine it running a whole lot better than it already did. And I'm assuming...
Well, did you see that's getting a remaster for PlayStation 5, and it's actually going to be a pack-in game with the Miles Morales for PS5. That's pretty interesting, ain't it, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice little... I don't know how big this game is. The room, they're saying it was a full-size game and all the rest of it. But obviously the first Spider-Man game was pretty big anyway. But for it to be packed in, you're kind of getting, both parts of it, I guess, in the same disc. So that is pretty cool and a decent value.
It is one of those games too, when I look at the shelf and I see Spider-Man there, it's always one that I think about playing again. I had so much fun with that game that I would play that again. So it is nice they're including it there with the remaster for PlayStation 5. Hogwarts Legacy coming in 2021, and apparently Karl's excited about this.
Yeah, I think this looks cool. I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. I think the universe that J.K. Rowling created is just ace. I love the books, love the movies, and it's been crying out for like a decent kind of RPG where you can make your own wizard or witch. You're going to go in there and you do your classes, you go through the school, and then you kind of that's like your leveling up process, if you like, and then you can go out and explore this big wide world around it, and that's kind of what this game promises. It's all just cinematic. Like, there's no gameplay or nothing like that, but you get a bit of a feel for it. I think the graphics didn't look brilliant. I think it's obviously early footage, so hopefully the final version does look more next gen. But it wouldn't surprise me again if perhaps this is a cross-platform jobby. But yeah, I thought this was cool. Joel, Shane, I don't know if you've got much Harry Potter love, but it's definitely like a very rich world that I think would lend itself well to an RPG. So it's on my radar for sure. I think it could be a lot of fun, and I like the way the wand battles look like they were working. It's very much like it's almost like a third-person shooter. Like you're pinging out spells when you wand. Like it could be a very simple button command scheme. Could be quite a simple but engaging system to get into. It's got piqued my interest.
Right after that, they showed Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, I believe it's called.
Yeah, I think so. Black Ops, the Reagan edition.
Yep. Of course, they got to show Call of Duty. That's what they do. I wonder if they're going to have any exclusivity with PlayStation. Like, I think this last generation, they would get the maps, early or something?
The
multiplayer maps?
The multiplayer stuff, didn't they? It was released earlier. And there's actually a multiplayer alpha that came out. You could jump in and play that on the PlayStation. Again, it's Call of Duty, man. It looked all right. Like, it looked fine. It's not my bag particularly, but I guess they've got to just put stuff in there that they think is going to grab people's attention, haven't they?
It's a 2020 release, so I don't anticipate it pushing the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X a whole lot. It'll probably just be ported over and look a lot like the PlayStation 4, Xbox One version, I would imagine. Because why not? That's what they do. Third-party game. Resident Evil Village 2021. Man, this game looks really freaky. So it kind of chills down my spine watching that trailer. It looks scary, right? Looks like a proper horror movie.
Right? Yeah, man. Pumped for this one. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. There was that nice little. We had a lot of the trailer we saw initially, and then there was that kind of like. It was even creepier than the actual trailer. Was that little bit in between, where they're telling the story of the mother and the daughter, and it's kind of like a 2-dimensional. Almost like the old Japanese puppet shows, like a bit of color against the black background with the trees and everything coming in, looking all creepy. And then the kid kind of goes into the forest, and then it kind of transitions into a 3D kind of thing. And it kind of set the tone. And I found that bit of it, quite creepy. I don't really play the Resident Evil games, but again, it does look interesting.
I haven't played one since 4. And I don't even know where the narrative is these days. And it seems like it's a completely new narrative compared to where
one-off isolated games, aren't they now? With their own sort of DLC support sets and all the rest of it. But again, I wouldn't imagine this is a console exclusive. If I couldn't imagine Capcom doing it.
No. After that, they showed Deathloop, another game coming in 2021. Looks really damn good. This is one of the. I think this is an exclusive, right? PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Yeah.
This game right here looks like I'd buy a console to play. It looked really good. Now, whether it's going to play as well as it looks in a trailer remains to be seen. Very stylized, kind of a Quentin Tarantino style movie look or style to it, I think. It looks good. It piqued my interest.
Yeah, the way it was edited, like the footage that they showed, and then obviously you've got all that whole voiceover over the top, and like it seems quite a deep storyline. There's a lot to it, and going back and trying to get things done in certain orders and things. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, it has got that kind of quirky vibe to it that I think will hook a lot of people in.
And it's a first person shooter, right? I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if it's the guys who did Dishonored or some of the people who were in that studio. It gave me those vibes anyway.
It's been a while since I've really gotten involved into like a good first-person shooter. There's too many blops and too many battlefields and too much of everything these days that even Doom and like Castle Wolfenstein and stuff is starting to feel a little worn out. I want a new setting for a good FPS, and this looks like it's going to suit that perfectly.
Yeah, they were pumping those Wolfensteins out It's like, there's just too many in too short of a time. I mean, there's some great ones in there, but a little oversaturation.
Feels like the same game over and over again after a while. With some of it, rebooting of these old games. Give me a clever first-person shooter. This is what that one is. That's what it looks like. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. So basically the same game with maybe some better graphics and some quicker load times.
Yeah.
Day one release. Really enjoyed that game. Could give a shit about it for a new console.
Yeah, no, strange one. And again, this is cross-platform, and I think it's, like you say, the original game with all the extra bits that came out over time for it. A great game. Played a bit of it. No, didn't go all the way through it, but not one I'm bothered about on next gen personally.
Next game they showed, Oddworld Soulstorm. They've got Lauren Lanning back at the helm. Looks like it might be a good game. Harkens back to those original Oddworlds. Not too sure. Is this a PlayStation exclusive? I'm not sure if it is.
Oddworld, I don't know, but it certainly seems like it is, like from the way that they've been pushing it. I'm not a huge fan of these games. I like Stranger's Wrath, which I think was on the Xbox originally, from memory. But that was probably the only one I really got into. I'm not really a fan of the typical Oddworld kind of games, but it looks like it's just been pushed on the PS5, so I'm not quite sure with it. I don't think they've clarified whether it is or not.
I just looked it up. According to Google, it's exclusive to PlayStation 5 and 4. It's also going to be a PS4 game and on PC.
What?
And on PC. So it is a PlayStation exclusive for consoles. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, or Five Nights at Freddy's, I should say. Security Breach was shown next. Not a fan of the series. My nephew's huge into this game, so I'm sure he was excited to see that. But decent looking graphics. Look pretty sharp. That's about all I can say about that.
Yeah. I know, like, my lad's the same. Like, he'd probably be into this. Like, but I don't know if you're going to be dropping the kind of money for these consoles to play a game like Five Nights at Freddy's. Not one for me. It didn't blow me away. But again, graphically, it did seem to have more of a suspense to it. Like, obviously, if the graphics improve, that kind of thing grabs you a little bit more. It's a little bit more interactive, I suppose. But strange one.
Another reboot, another PlayStation exclusive game, getting to be on the next console. One I didn't really care about previously, not my style of game, but this trailer, man, it's all of a sudden a game that looks like I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Demon Souls, which is going to be a day one release on the console. So there we go. 2 games at launch so far, right? PlayStation or Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Demon Souls.
I was really surprised this was a launch title. I was sure, 100% sure this would be 2021. But man, does this game look good. Like, graphically, it looks a step above. It looks like it's the first game I looked at and I was like, that's a next generation title right there. As good as Spider-Man looks, Spider-Man 4 looks great on the PS4 anyway. I don't think Miles looks that much of a jump from PS4 to PS5, but when you compare Demon Souls to like a Dark Souls 3, which is a beautiful game on a PS4 as well, but this does look head and shoulders, like it looks graphically so great. And they did a great job with the reel, with that trailer reel, and showing, this dude kind of killing people, one hit killing people, which never seems to happen for me when I play these games. But this is the game I want to play on the console. This is the one that grabbed my attention. And when I found out it was launch day, I was like, wow, that's definitely one that I want to be picking up. But I thought it looked incredible. They've obviously put a lot of work in this remaster. It must have been working on it for a while. So yeah, fair play.
A little bit of fine print at the end of that trailer that read, not available on other consoles for a limited time.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's a PlayStation 4 game as well?
I doubt it. I don't think that you could run that. Dark Souls 3 pushes that, even the Pro here that I play it on. There is a PC release date, or there was a PC release date scheduled for it as well, like slated in there, which they've now said, that was an administrative error. We didn't mean to say it was coming out on PC. I would be surprised. I don't think it'll be on Xbox, 100%, because I think Sony have picked up the license for that game effectively. So, but I could see it coming to PC.
I don't see why you deliberately write on the screen, not on other consoles for a limited time. Use the word consoles.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's got to be coming to something. They wouldn't, if it was exclusive, they would not write that on there. And if it was PC, it wouldn't say the word console.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. From what I understood with the development for this, they picked it up and they backed it. So I don't. Again, it could be smoke and mirrors, and if it does come out on the Xbox, great. Because the more people that play these games, the better. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But in my head, this is a console exclusive at the moment. But who knows? We might get a bit more information about that as the weeks go on.
It was exclusive to the PlayStation 3. I think
PS3.
Demon's Souls was exclusive there, so it feels like it should be. Then, of course, there was a Fortnite trailer. You know, let's give all the youngins something to look at, or just tell people, hey, you like Fortnite. You don't want to be buggered with anything else. You don't need anything but your phone or whatever. Now, okay, you can play Fortnite on PlayStation 5.
I wasn't looking at it.
Mom, just I want a PlayStation 5. No, you're not. You're not a Fortnite player.
No.
No,
you mentioned the youngins, so when you say youngins, naturally you're talking to me. So.
Of course, yeah, of course. Resident youngin, Shane. The old youngin. It's very
wow.
ye old youngin,
right?
Whatever you gotta do to feel young, my friend. Stack yourself up next to Karl and I, and be like, I'm young. That's good. That's good.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be a long time from now.
A surprise announcement here.
Yes.
Towards the end of the presser. I thought this was a good one. Called the PlayStation Plus Collection. And they advertised it as there's a new benefit coming to PlayStation Plus for the PlayStation 5. So apparently won't be on the PlayStation 4. But PlayStation Collection, or PlayStation Plus Collection, you can play a long list of great PlayStation 4 games with your PlayStation Plus subscription. So I'll read off the list, and there's some dandies in here. God of War, Monster Hunter World, Final Fantasy 15, Fallout 4, Mortal Kombat X, Uncharted 4, Ratchet & Clank, the PlayStation 4 version, Days Gone, Bloodborne, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Battlefield 1, Infamous Second Son, wow, that's going back a ways, Batman Arkham Knight, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, not The Last of Us 2, Persona 5, and Resident Evil 7. And there, if you haven't played those games and you get yourself a PlayStation 5, your launch day is all of a sudden very exciting just by having a PlayStation Plus subscription. So that was a heck of an announcement there.
But interesting, you've just said that about Last of Us 2, and it is also Persona 5, not Persona 5 Royale. So they've obviously taken both the older games and thought, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Is this their
That's an incredible list?
It's a good list. Is this the Game Pass? If you're putting two fighters in a ring, is this the fighter that they're putting up against Game Pass? PlayStation Plus Collection?
It seems like it. It seemed like when I first saw that, I'm like, okay, they're, kind of taking a stroke from Xbox on this one and, putting something together. But I mean, that's, to, get home and fire up your PS5 and instantly have access to these. Man, these are, you go down this list. I mean, there's phenomenal games. How many Game of the Years are there in here? There's plenty of them. This is a phenomenal, head start, when you get that new console in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of questions about this. I think number one will be, are these games upscaled to the PS5? Are these going to be performing better? Or is it just the case of this is a PS4 game? Because when I look down that list, there are some humdingers, man. There's some brilliant games on there. Bloodborne
humdingers, he says.
Humdingers.
I said dandies earlier, so thanks for backing me up on that one.
Dandies and humdingers. I tell you what, you can tell that right.
Dandy Bandy.
There's the show title right there. Write that down.
So anyway, But Bloodborne stands out on that list because it performs even on the Pro. Where I play it on the Pro, and it still chugs, man. Like it's a performance hog. So if that's upscaled, like if whether I don't know whether that's just a better frame rate or just shorter loading times, it'd be interesting to know if they're going to put any effort into these games at all, or whether they're just saying these are just PS4 games. You literally they're going to be exactly the same. I'd like to understand that part of it first and foremost. I think if you're putting this up against Game Pass, I think the one of the things it's got in its corner, I suppose, is that these are top tier games for the most part. They are AAA titles. They're really, really good games. And they're probably not going to get rotated as much as stuff would on Game Pass. I would imagine that Sony are quite comfortable just keeping these on there, unless there's third-party issues like with maybe Battlefield or Batman or whatever. But other than that, if you look at the sheer volume of games on Game Pass, like the value that you get from it, I know that they've said other games will be added to this list, but it doesn't stack up. Like if you were putting these two in the ring, I know who my money would be on, and it wouldn't be Sony. It ain't a bad list. It's decent, but it's and as a starting point, perhaps it's okay. But yeah,
and it helps. Being these are PS4 games, it also helps build the legacy of these games as well, right? Because there's a lot in here that a lot of people have missed. You see, some people that, I have all these games, or, whatever. But there's something for everyone on this list. And these are top tier. These are top tier titles, right? So it only helps build the legacy of the, some of these series, especially, God of War and whatnot. And that infamous Second Son is still a phenomenal game. It is still really great. It still looks really great, So there's a lot here. Battlefield 1's a little bit odd. Odd choice, I would say, but it's still a great game.
And maybe I should
the Last Guardian. I mean, if anybody wanted to, play a phenomenal game that's 3-generation old controls, I mean, you can't beat the Last Guardian. It's right in the pocket there. I for the record, I love the Last Guardian. I think it was phenomenal. I love the story. Couldn't put it down. That whole series, with Shadow Colossus and Eco are some of my favorites. So a little tongue-in-cheek there for people that can read between the lines.
Nice. And I put them in the same ring, but it's really like putting a heavyweight and a middleweight in the ring, because PlayStation's not charging for this. You are paying separately for Game Pass. It's not included with Xbox Live. This is included with their Xbox Live. Their PlayStation Plus, you get this without paying a cent more. So kudos to them for that. They're giving you this if you buy Plus. So maybe I shouldn't even put them in the ring. Of course, the heavyweight's going to kick the shit out of the middleweight. Yeah.
Naturally, and especially when the heavyweight has had 44 fights, and you get the middleweight that's had 3 fights. They don't have quite the experience yet, but it seems like they're gonna they're working towards something among those lines, And
I don't want to be a naysayer.
No,
but at the same time, like we've all watched this conference, and I'm sure all of you have as well. And there isn't a massive amount of games for these consoles, both of them. So I think Sony had to do something, because if you're shipping that brand new sparkly PS5 and you've got a couple of games to pick from, they needed to pull something out the hat. And I think they have it. I think it's a good idea. Like they pulled something out, but like, right, yes, there might not be too many games at launch. However, I mean, I'll look through this list. Joel, Shane, there's games on here I haven't played. And I've played a lot of them, and I've completed a few of them. But there's games on here which I've completely passed me by, or they're in my backlog and things like that. So there is something for everybody. That it will be a small percentage of PS4 players who have done all these. There is going to be something there, and I think Sony had to pull something out. So, yeah.
I don't think they're going to run any better. I think they're just going to be PlayStation 4 games, Karl. I know PlayStation 4 is backwards compatible with some games, It's not fully, or excuse me, PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible to PlayStation 4 for some games, not all games. So they're just going to tap into those backwards compatible titles here, and they're going to run the same as they would on your PS4 Pro.
Which still runs pretty good for the most part.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's, you're going to have issues trying to play these games.
No. But Xbox Series X in the infrastructure of the console does the up conversion, does the faster frame.
Yeah.
It's part of the ecosystem of that system. I don't think PlayStation 5 has that sort of functionality built into their system. So unless the developers did the work to upscale or whatever, which they're not doing, this is just those PS4 games running on your PlayStation 5.
Yeah, but I do think that's a bit of a, like, we love The Last Guardian Moonshine. It's a great game, but it's got its issues. So what you're effectively going to play, when you played that game on a PS4 and a PS4, it's a PS3 game on a PS4. Now you're then playing a PS3 game on a PS5. So it's just a shame that if these aren't improved, even if it's just the frame rate, just to make it smoother, I just feel it's missing a trick.
I think, all due respect to you, Karl. I mean, Last Guardian's kind of a bad example of this because it controls like a PS2 game. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, like even on the PS4,
you get the D-pad action.
Yeah, love good D-pad action. But yeah, no, it's phenomenal, and people will discover something new. Something maybe they never tapped into and whatnot, and this is a great start. Like Joel said, this is a great starting point for them. Or maybe it's Karl that said it. But I'm saying it. This is a great starting point, and really, really cool. Was not expecting something like this at all. I don't think anybody was.
It's nice that they tossed it in, and I'm not sure many PlayStation 5 purchasers didn't also have a PS4. I think that whole ecosystem is just going to upgrade to the next console. But if you haven't had a PS4 or haven't played some of these great games, it's nice that when you open that PlayStation 5 box, plug it in, you can actually download these games as well. You don't have to stream them. So that's a nice benefit too. It's almost like PlayStation Plus with just a ton of like instant library there on your PlayStation 5. Rather than every month they scroll away, this is like a permanent PlayStation Plus list.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've done, haven't they? They've just made more Plus games. And for anyone with a PS5, they've just ticked the box. You own this game, effectively, as long as your Plus membership's there.
All right. So PS5, clearly, we got a bunch of games to play, when you bring the thing home. Question is now, Joel, what is this thing going to cost? What is the PlayStation 5 going to cost us?
I'm glad you asked. Well, you guys are going to need to help me here too. Your euros and your Canadese dollars. Let's give the price based on our regions. So I'll go first. PlayStation 5, the regular edition, which comes with your disk drive, is $499 in the US.
Whoa.
Yep. $449.99 in the UK. So 450 of your finest pounds gets you the full little fat bellied PS5.
And here we go. In Canadese, the reigning, defending. No. Now we get into the heavyweight pricing. $629.
Really?
Ooh,
oh my God.
That sounds expensive.
It's a bigger number,
Yep.
How does that feel? I'm not in Canada. How does that feel in your pocketbook? That pricey? Is that where you thought it would be?
So used to paying so much more for stuff that's advertised in US dollars. So I expected it. I expected $5.99, but I mean you do the conversion. I mean it's just basically a 30-cent dollar, which brings it into about $6.50. So it's I guess it's a good thing we're getting a lot of games with Plus.
Yeah, because you're only getting 2 launch games otherwise.
Right. Be a little easier on the pocketbook.
And the PlayStation 5 digital version, that's without the disk drive, if you're not paying attention there at home, $399 in the US. $100 off. No disk drive.
Yeah, in the UK, it's $359.99. So, 90 quid cheaper. Not quite that 100, but still represents good value if digital is the way you're going to go.
Definitely. And up here in the Great White North, wait for it, $4.99.
$4.99. How much is a PlayStation 4 Pro in the Great White North currently?
I don't know.
Yeah, because
it's been a while since I bought one.
It's been a while since we've all three been into a store as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, that too, yeah. I hope it's not much more than $3.99 at this point, but I know when they launched, they were $4.99.
I think here in the States, there's still $3.99 for the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
So this, I believe, also haven't stepped foot in a Best Buy in quite a long time. It hurts my soul, man. I need to walk around a Best Buy like really bad.
Well, the thing is, I mean, obviously the pricing will change. So this digital bad boy, but actually, so the PS5 with the disc drive is $449 over here in the UK. Now, if you want to buy a PS4 Pro, again with no game, then you're probably looking $420. Around there. If it's bundled with a game, if it's a special console, you're probably talking $450, $460, $470, depending what, Last of Us 2, things like that. But certainly, the Slim is almost half that price. I think the Slim is about probably $260, $270 in the UK. But that Pro is still top-end pricing. So I do think, like Yellowbug said on our show last time round, we can see these prices are going to have to drop. So that Pro, if you're in the market for a PS4 Pro, you might have some good news in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, they got to drop that price.
They've got to, haven't they? Now, I checked back, gents, to when I picked up my PS4 originally, with the launch one, when it came out. And I know it was a few years ago now, but that was sort of 350 quid with Killzone. And obviously, these consoles are shipping with no packing title. You've got the little robot game, I suppose.
3 launch games. 3 launch games. Sorry.
Oh yeah. You got the Astrobot, haven't you? That's everyone's favorite PS4 character. I mean, how do we feel about the price point? Shane just said he was expecting kind of $599. I think I was probably expecting £450 for the full version. I was then thinking maybe $399 for the discless version. I think that 90 quid less for the sake of the disc drive and obviously all the gubbins that goes with it. That's pretty good. Like I think the hand has been forced by Microsoft. With that Series S. It does seem like it's a bit of a jump down to that discless version.
Yeah,
but it's a different. The size of the console is a little bit smaller on the digital one. It's not just there's no disk drive, so it's a different plastic piece on there. The console's actually probably about 12 millimeters thinner because of that. And this is a big boy. This is one of the biggest consoles in history. If you've seen any of the dimensions on it, it's huge. I mean, they're talking 15 inches long, which I know to Karl is not going to be very, very big, but it's still, once you get it under the TV, that is, it's pretty massive for those who aren't prepared.
Yeah, from what I'm reading, it's the biggest console ever as far as the footprint of the thing.
Right.
The only worry I've got there is the PS4 Pro is noisy. The PS4, it sounds like it's going to take off. So have they made it bigger to try and skimp on the, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate, but is cooling a thing? Joel, we've both had an Xbox One X. That thing is heavy as a house brick. It's tiny, it's compact, it's incredibly cool. Like the cooling system in it, liquid cooled, does a great job. You can only assume that the Series X will do a similar job. And I do worry when I look at the size of that PS5 and I'm like, look at the infrastructure of the PS4 and how cooling works. Is it going to be a similar thing? I really hope it's not as loud and they've just thought, we'll make it bigger so air can get around it easier. What do you think?
Yeah, I did see an article, and that was a key priority in designing this console was to get away from a bit of the overheating, i.e. having the fan run so loud and whatnot.
The curvature on this thing, though, worries me a little bit as far as like keeping the dust away from it. Looks like it's going to like grab the dust out of the air as it drifts by and just suck it right in. The curves on this thing are they went with a very like modern, fancy, artistic aesthetic that is probably going to gather a little bit of dust. So you're going to have to clean those curves out. Keep that dust out of there to make sure you don't got like a helicopter sound to that console. I have way more faith in Microsoft, considering their history, their legacy of PC, that they know how to design a box. And it's just a square or a rectangle, the Xbox Series X. It's not that sexy, curved out, white, funky looking PlayStation 5. For better or for worse. At least you can get at the vents real easy with a cloth. This thing looks like, I don't know. In my opinion,
like a skyscraper.
It's not the most.
Looks like something out of Shadowfall.
I put it in the
right? It does.
I put it in the shelf. I don't give a shit what I don't need it to look like this. It's just crazy looking. But that's just me. I don't have people come over and like, my parents are over and I'm like, hey, look at my entertainment center. Isn't this thing cool looking? Gives a shit. I just,
You see that blue glow down there? Guess what that is?
Yeah. Wow. Look at this sexy console right here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something to be said for the nice straight lines of the Xbox, the Series X anyway. Not so much the Series S. So we've got the price. This thing lands in November 12th in the USA. I've got to wait a little bit longer. It launches November 12th in the US, Japan, Canada for our friend Shane, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea. It's November 19th everywhere else. So we have to wait a week over here in the UK. It's a bit of a shame. But, I'm sure I can avoid spoilers, if it comes to it for a week.
And actually, a little throwback, a few episodes back, I had said, mark your calendars.
You sure
November
did.
20th. November 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Man, young, spry, and smart. Well done, Shane.
Yeah, that's it.
Nailed it on that one. That's awesome. And at the very end of all of that, they then teased a new God of War, Ragnarok, which was basically some audio, father, son, and a logo. But hey, they announced that they're making a new God of War game, so all good here. So I'm sure it's a ways off. They said 2021, but no. If all they're going to show you now is voiceover on a logo, let's put that at like 2022 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way Sony's always done it, right? They always have that, that little cut, to show the logo, and then like 2 generations later, it comes out.
Yeah, like your Last Guardian with the PlayStation 2 controls.
Yeah.
Oh man,
madness.
Oh,
all right. Then they went up. So they showed it on. It was in an afternoon. I was working. I was trying to pay attention, but also had to work. And then the pre-orders went up like almost immediately, which I was not anticipating at all. I thought there'd be some announcement later with when these things are going to go up for pre-order. I don't know what Sony intended. I suspect, just based on Jeff Keighley's tweet after this presser, that it would go on sale the following day. But then it went on sale pretty much immediately. So I'm not sure if the retailers didn't have clear direction and just all of a sudden put it up, and retailers are trying to one-up each other so they can get the sale at their store versus somewhere else. I'm assuming that's what happened, but it was a giant clusterfuck, the pre-order. I mean, it was taking websites down. The demand, so the hype immediately following this thing, or within a few hours, people are all charged up for the 3 console exclusives, excited on launch. I should say 3 launch exclusives. People are just excited. There's a new PlayStation console. A lot of us are locked in the house, can't do shit. Might as well spend some money on a new console. But getting your hands on a pre-order was pretty difficult because these websites could not keep up with the traffic.
But that's the thing, though, right? And that's kind of a testament to the PlayStation brand. I mean, anytime there's a new console, it's like the world kind of stops for a few seconds. and it's just pandemonium. I mean, it goes crazy. I mean, for pre-orders. I mean, it shows the power of the PlayStation brand on how its effects on economies. Especially retail economies. You can't. I mean, there's people ready to throw $500 just like that. As soon as this thing was announced and whatnot, ready to throw it in there, and retailers are going to jump on that. They're going to take that $500 because now they're going to sit on it for 2 months and collect a shit ton of interest on it. There's so much money to be made just by doing this, and you know what? They're going to go up and they're going to go up as soon as they got that link set up and whatnot. They are going to grab a hold of that money. There's way too much money involved, for a lot of these retailers to just sit back and wait for the green light. Nah. I got a guy on my doorstep looking to give me $500 right now. You know what? I'll take it. I'm sitting on it. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll let you know when I get you your product. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. And I think
I am right.
The current world climate, I think that retail has been particularly hit. It's not beyond the realms of possibility to think that that's definitely a tactic. Cash is king. Get the cash in, sit on it. And do what you do. They said next day, and you're right, Joel. I don't think any clear guidelines were given. It's one of those situations where as soon as midnight passed, it was like, "Yep, it's the next day. Let's do it. Let's put that link live. Let's get that money." And yeah, chaos ensued.
It was craziness, man. People are pissed. Just freaking out over these pre-orders and not getting something that they want so bad. Because you can't get it on the first day. It's okay, man. It's okay. You don't need it the first day. You can get it a few months down the road. Don't worry, your Facebook timeline, all your friends, they'll still like the post a month later. It's still okay. It's just you don't. It's such an entitlement that goes on with stuff like this. It's just like, well, as soon as there's a pre-order up, I'm guaranteed mine. I need mine right now. And then when it doesn't happen, people lose their shit, and then they start blaming it's all bots and scalpers. But if you actually look at the percentage that you see up online compared to how it made, no, it's not bots and scalpers. You're just really slow at doing it. That being said, Wednesday night I went to bed and whatnot. Usual bedtime. I couldn't really sleep. So about 20 minutes later, I realized, I kind of got to take a leak. So I went to the bathroom, took my phone with me, went on Amazon, and they were up. So I got one.
There you go. You got the disc or the discless, the digital? Of course you got the disc. You got a shelf. You got a great shelf. That's a stupid question. For the listener.
Yeah, for the listener, I'll let you know. Yes, there's a disc.
Nice.
Yeah. The mass rush and stuff, I didn't get it. Let me tell you how my experience panned out. So I didn't watch the press conference live. I think I was working or watching football or something. I'm not sure, but I kind of watched it afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, pre-orders are going to go up. And then I didn't even look at Twitter, or I didn't see people were just losing their shit for this online. And yeah, I went to bed, got up 6:30 in the morning, ready to start work at 7. And as I always do, check my emails, and there's an email from Amazon, Mr. Palmer, these are going to go on sale at 9 a.m. Stocks may be limited. Get on there and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, I've got a couple of hours, man. I had a cup of coffee, got the web page up, and 9 o'clock. I think I actually missed 9 o'clock, but about 9:05, I jumped in there. Pre-ordered a little fatty one with a disk drive, and
fatty boy.
Yeah, it was super easy. And I had mates messaging me on WhatsApp like, oh my God, what's going on? And Amazon didn't have the link, wasn't working on the app. They didn't have the digital versions for sale. It was all a bit chaotic. But for me, it was like I was in my own little serene bubble. It was great. I just had a couple of coffees, like click, one click ordering, done. There we go. and that was it. Whether I'll keep it or not is another story. And I think we'll talk about, we'll find out what Shafinsky did first, but we'll talk more about the games and about pricing in a minute. But yeah, one's pre-ordered. I'll do the same with the Xbox on Tuesday. I'll pre-order one of those and whatever. But it's or whenever they go on sale, pre-order one and see what the crack is.
I don't think I want $1,000 worth of consoles on day one.
Yeah.
You know, I've,
Fair
I've been,
enough.
I've been buying a lot of like guitar gear over here, as my cohorts
You have
know.
enough, yeah.
It's an insane amount of guitar gear. Thousands of dollars of guitar gear lately. So, which takes I'm married. So, I get a little conversation when you go buy a Les Paul. It's not
Right.
just, I'm just going to go buy a Les Paul and you're going to take it. It's, yeah, I want to buy a $2,500 guitar. Is that cool? Okay. Yeah, it's cool. Okay. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. It's not just me showing up at home. Like I just took $2,500 out of our bank account,
You ring the front doorbell and then run around, come through the back door. With
Yeah.
it.
And you see, this is where you should, if you'd have had more guitars in the first place on the wall, like you could have just snuck it in there and just be like, yeah, well, I don't know what that is. That must be an administrative error from the bank.
Right.
I'm at least at launch, I'm choosing the Xbox. So I'm going to spend $500, not $1,000. And Shane really articulated this well. What do you need this on day one for? For what? For Spider-Man that's going to probably look and run the same on PlayStation 4? For the little robot pack-in game?
Yeah.
Or Demon Souls? If you're a huge Demon Souls fan, I could see where you'd be really irritated if you're not getting one of these. Because you want to play your game. But besides that, what is the hurry? And I could make the same argument, quite frankly, for the Xbox. Why do I need... I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence. We're recording this a week earlier. So by the time you hear this, I will have already made this decision.
Yeah.
But that thing goes on sale this week. You're hearing it after. I'm not sure. I don't know if I really need that thing. I've got an Xbox One X that runs all of these games very, very well. There's nothing at launch that requires I have the better system. So it's almost like a PC upgrade. Like I'm getting a new graphics card, essentially.
Yeah.
Getting that new Xbox. And my current graphics card, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm making an analogy on a console here. My current console plays my games well. And I'm playing a lot of guitar. I'm not even playing my games at this moment. I've kind of had a little bit of a break. It was a great year. I played the shit out of some games. God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Last of Us 2. I had a great year. I'm kind of chilling on games right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for me to go buy a console for what? It's the hype. It's the hype, really. It's just, I want one right away, but I don't think I even need one. But if I need one, I don't need two. I mean, I'm having a hard time even making an argument that I need one. I don't need two. So I'm going to wait on the PlayStation 5. I will have one eventually, but there's nothing there on day one on either console that makes me think I need it immediately.
Yeah.
And I was even thinking, just grab a digital one, but with the price difference up here, I mean, it's a big difference. So the digital ones aren't lasting very long, on said, pre-orders or whatever. And I just happened when I looked it up and it was there, it happened, the disc one came up. So that's the one I grabbed. But I was fully prepared to, just get the digital for now. There's not a whole lot coming out that I need to grab right away, like Joel said. I mean, and then down the road, maybe, it tied me over for, plenty of time. I can still buy, physical games in the meantime, and then when they're readily available, I mean, I can grab a disc one later on. I can always, hawk the digital or do whatever. Or, I don't know, paint a face on it or something. I don't know, the stuff that I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is where I have the dilemma. Like, the cash is in the bank. I can get it. It's fine. But to me, there's I'm having a ton of fun with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I really can't wait to play Valhalla. Like I really want to pick that game up and play it when it comes out. But I also want to play Cyberpunk. That's my most anticipated game of this year, and it's also on PS4 and Xbox. And the same is for Assassin's Creed. They're both on this generation. And when you look at the games like Spider-Man, that is also cross-generation, and that they also announced that the new Horizon Zero Dawn is cross-generation. That's also going to be on PS4. So then I'm like, okay, so am I really going to spend 450 quid on the PS5, then 70 quid? So, you're parting with over 500 quid for me to play Demon's Souls, a PS3 game which has been remastered. And then probably not a lot else. I mean, maybe Ratchet and Clank. That's, I think, holiday, so that'll be out for Christmas. But after that, I'm just like, I look at it and I'm thinking, I'll have that PS5 and I'll have Demon's Souls, but I'll be playing Cyberpunk and Valhalla anyway. Now I could buy those on the PS5. Totally true, and they'll run better, they'll perform better. But do I need to? And I haven't got an Xbox under the desk at the minute. I use the PC. The same thing on that. You know, there aren't any games coming out. There aren't third party that you want to be playing. So I'll pre-order both, and I think then I'll just sit and wait and see what kind of news comes out over the next month or so, and then make a decision. But I could easily see myself going through November, December with a PS4.
Are you talking yourself out of your pre-order? I mean, what's going on here?
No, I mean, I was always going to pre-order both, but the more information that comes out, it doesn't seem like it's necessary. Like, I don't mind dropping the money on the new console, but if there's literally nothing to play on either that isn't third party, other than Demon's Souls and you know, I suppose Spider-Man's PS4 anyway. So you have to have a look at it and you have to think, is it worth doing it now just to get it under the entertainment center, and just have it there, you know? And I'm sure there might be other things that come out. We might find other bits and bobs. There might be digital only releases. We might have some other games that perhaps Ratchet and Clank drops at the end of November. I don't know. That may make me think, oh yeah, you know, I might as well grab it now because I might not get one. And that's, I think, where a lot of this comes from. Shane's saying before, the level of kind of entitlement. It's that fear of missing out, isn't it? You know, people are like, I've got to get one at launch because I might not get one at Christmas. I might not get one in the new year. You know, we don't know how many of these there are going to be. You know, Sony have recently apologized for the pre-order debacle, haven't they? You know, they've kind of come out.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Sorry, guys, we might have messed it up. Well, it isn't though, because originally they said, we're not just going to drop this on you. You know, we're not just going to drop pre-orders on you. You know, don't worry, you'll get enough notice. And then they didn't give you the notice, regardless of if the retailers sold them at midnight. You know, even if they'd have sold them at 9 a.m., you're still telling people on a press conference that some people might not have watched. You know, I
don't like apologies. You know, I didn't like when Xbox came out and apologized, you know, after their, you know, all in-game stuff and whatnot, and then apologized again. I don't like that. Just let it be. Let the people that are yelling and screaming are usually the minority, right? And
yeah,
you don't cater to that, you know. So I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, really? Like, well, it is what it is, you know. A couple of weeks, nobody will remember it anyway. So,
but there were people. Yeah. I mean, even in our own community, Mikey, good friend of ours, in our Discord was saying, I'm going to get an Xbox. I couldn't get a PlayStation 5. I mean, there are people who, an Xbox is making a strong argument for a console right now with that price of that Xbox Series S, Game Pass. They've come a long way from their apologies. They've come a long way. And there are people who haven't had an Xbox in a long time or never have one who are like, you know, fine. I can't get your PlayStation 5. I'll just buy an Xbox. And maybe I'll find some great stuff there. So they sort of needed to apologize if they want to keep that loyal, rabid fan base. There, you guys saw Twitter, right? I mean, I know it's Twitter, and people are always ticked off on Twitter, but there were a lot of people who are like, "How dare you? I wanted one, and now I'm going to go buy a Nintendo. Screw you!" You know,
just because people take it so personal. It's not personal. It's okay.
Agreed.
You're still gonna get one. You know, everybody is. It'll be fine. You know, after one day, people are that offended over a pre-order. That's it. That's all it is. Like, it's okay. Like to be that upset over a brand is. I'm being 100% honest here, man. I'm not, you know, pulling any shade or anything. I mean, that's pretty intense. To really, you know, to take something from a brand that, you know, that, I don't know, it's shown, this has really shown a real ugly side of the gaming community. Like it showcased probably the worst of the gaming community, really. Like, I don't get it. And even if I hand pre-ordered one, I'd still say the same thing. Because, I mean, I missed the conference and whatnot. I just saw everything blowing up and whatnot. And just happened to look. Occasionally, like when I'm home playing games, I was chit-chatting with a buddy on PlayStation. And I would just check my phone, see if, pre-order went up every, 20 minutes or a half hour. Nothing major. I'm not sitting there refreshing the screen, hitting control, whatever, I need, come on, it's coming up. Signing up for notifications. I never do anyway. And it just happened to come up. So, okay, clearly I'm in the minority and one of the lucky ones, whatever, sure, however you want to put it. But like I said, man, I wasn't looking, to grab one, just check and see, is it up? Okay, cool. Done. Went to bed. Is what it is. But I don't see, it's, just, I don't know, just seeing that ugly side of what this is kind of brought out in people has been eye-opening, we'll say.
Yeah, the internet, man. It's a very helpful, it's an encyclopedia at our fingertips. And I benefit like all of you do, benefit all the time. When I need information about the most specific of detail, where should I put my treble on my amp when I'm using a Les Paul with a Hot Rod Deluxe? I mean, the amount of detail I can get off the internet, it's amazing. But right now, man, in this world that we live in now, it's just this yelling, angry, upset, stressed out, entitled people on it. It drives me nuts. My social media, I am so unplugged right now to social media. I mean, check my feeds. There's nothing happening. Crickets. Just change my picture to a cricket because I can't handle it right now. It's so bad.
People are bored.
What?
People are bored. Cricket. Yeah, they haven't. They haven't been doing much.
How's that?
And when they do, they're 100% honed in on this one thing. It's like, I don't know, man.
It's a little intense. I've had a really good year with willpower. You put my mind to things and succeeding in goals. Willpower. So I sort of feel like I should apply the same level of willpower to my gaming addiction. I really don't want one of these consoles, but I know I'm gonna do it. Send help! Oh my God, That's 2 episodes in a row where I said send help. We're at an hour, but I don't want to cut you guys short. I want to hear about these games, so we may have a little bit of a longer episode here, folks. Maybe we'll hit an hour and a half. I just talked about willpower, and I need another beer, so I have no willpower on the beers when I'm with you two recording ABOG.
Right?
Shane and Karl.
Bad influences.
Yeah. In a good way. You guys are the best.
Yeah.
So, hey, do us a favor. Drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. We're recording a week early. It's only been a week since the last show. I didn't see any new reviews, so I have no shout outs. But if you're sitting there listening, you've been meaning to leave us a review and you haven't done so yet, here's your chance. Leave us a review. Put a little fuel in our tank. Help push us along. We're going on 10 years here, people, soon. Year and a half. We'll be at 10 years, 2 years, whatever. And we're going to get there. We're good. It's happening. We're not stopping now,
Oh, God, no. Better not.
Shane's going to watch Karl and I die on the episode. He's so much younger than us. We're going to pass recording one of these.
If that's so, I'm going to have to put something funny like a hat on my skeleton or something.
Right. Heck yeah. And we'll be back in 2 weeks after that even.
Yeah, probably.
I love it.
So it's all about us three. I mean, I've made some amazing friends here. I love doing this. It's all about these two guys and you. So please drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. Tell us how we're doing. Give us some notes. Put some fuel in our tank because we don't ask for your money. We just ask for your love. Man, wow. That's really bad. That was corny. I'm gonna go grab a beer. Shane.
I love that.
Actually, I think we could all use a little fuel here, a little bit extra coolant.
I need a hug, please. The Bucks lost the playoffs. I need a hug. Cashmere beer would be fine. Yeah. So Shane,
Cashmere hug.
Yeah, talk so I can go walk away and get a beer.
Euphemism.
There you go. All right, sound effect to indicate we're onto the gaming section.
All right, here we go.
Thank you.
Got a new racing game just launched, and it's probably showing up on your dashboard and whatnot. A little advert. It's Hotshot Racing. Now this carries on the tradition of games like Outrun, Virtual Racing, Daytona USA, and more recently Horizon Chase Turbo, which is a fantastic game, which I really, really like. Great game. And this falls right in those footsteps. You know, it's a very, very cool looking, 3D style, 90s ish, lots of color, a lot of pastel, really, really vibrant. It looks pretty cool. Nice throwback on there. The style kind of, arcade racer, the kind that we all kind of grew up playing and whatnot. And this is right there and up with them. When I first played it and whatnot, it's kind of like, not seeing, there's not too many modes or anything, and it seems a little lack. But the more I play it, the more I'm loving this game. This is just, it's a really simple, anybody can pick up and play. There's no, complicated controls or anything. Basically, you pump your quarter into the box and start racing, man. And this is a really cool example of, kind of doing like that throwback kind of gaming and nailing it, because they really did on this one. The cars all handle a little bit differently, but the core of it's there. Anybody can just, pick it up and play and enjoy it. And it's really pretty, like I said, very, very colorful. A lot of the tracks, have very different, unique environments and whatnot. Some of them, there's one when you're kind of going through the jungle and there's a T-Rex on the side of the track, and he's just like, yelling at you and whatnot. Really, really cool things like that take place in there. There's one track that's, you end up driving through a casino, and it's just so cool. It's like, wow. I remember doing it the other night, and it's like, holy crap, man, we're driving through the casino floor. This is insane, right? Just craziness like that, but it's fun. It's really damn fun. The more and more I play it, the more I'm loving it. Like I said, it is a little light on modes, though. I mean, you got your standard arcade racing and whatnot. You got the Grand Prix, bit of a story mode kind of thing that they fill in with, a cutscene and whatnot, which is, basically just telling a little bit of a character's backstory. There's probably about 8 or 10 different drivers that you can choose from. Each of them have 4 different unique cars for that. Some are more acceleration based, some are more top speed based, some are more drift based. And it's just finding a balance, in those that suits your driving style and whatnot. So there's a decent amount in there to play. They also have one of my all-time favorite racing modes, Cops and Robbers, and it is super, super fun. I've played it a little bit in single player, doing some Cops and Robbers where you're a cop, and as you take down, the robbers and whatnot who are trying to, collect cash at each checkpoint, when you do take them down, they become a cop. So if you're racing as a robber and whatnot and you get taken down, all of a sudden now you're a cop. So now you got, at the end of the race, I mean, you got like 6 or 7 cops trying to take down one dude, man. It's, it gets pretty intense. A lot of fun online. You get into an online lobby doing some Cops and Robbers. Fantastic. Really, really fun. And the other mode they have is they call Driver Explode, which is, I don't know if you remember the movie Speed, where there's the one dude, he's always like, and he has, and every movie he's in, I don't know his name, but he always has that one look in every movie where he kind of turns around and says something really, dark or something. I don't know. But you had to basically stay above a certain speed limit, or otherwise, the bus would blow up or something like that. That's basically what Driver Explode mode is. You got to keep your car going a certain speed, otherwise it starts to take damage, it'll start smoking, catch fire and whatnot, and that speed increases throughout the race. So it's a bit of a tightrope there. You got to be that gets intense online, but when it's intense, it's even more fun. So the online in this game, I think is fantastic. early on, I did have a little bit of trouble getting to a lobby because you require 4 players to start a race and whatnot. But since then, more and more people are hearing about it and hearing, the word of mouth on this one. So you're getting more people in there, and it is a lot of fun. I spent about an hour just going through the next race, just staying in the lobby, and just had a blast with it. So this is a fun throwback 90s 3D arcade racer. It definitely deserves love. And if you got an Xbox, it's on Game Pass. So there's no excuse to not try this one out. I highly recommend trying this game out. Give it a little bit of time, give it a couple hours and whatnot. You'll definitely find your spot in it and have some fun. Great way to kill some time and just enjoy it.
Looks really cool. I mean, the look of this game, the style of the game is very enticing. So I'm glad to hear it's backed up in some good gameplay. And the arcade experience for a racer is extremely appealing. I don't need a ton of modes. I mean, sold. It's on Game Pass though. I picked it up on the Switch. I haven't tried it yet, but it was like $15, I think, in the US.
Oh, nice.
And I had some rewards bucks. When you buy Switch games digitally, they give you points. You can cash those points in towards money off other games. And I had like $5 off. So I got it for like $10. And then I read it's
That's a perfect game for Switch.
Then I read it's on Game Pass. I'm like, no. I didn't realize I could have already had it, but
yeah,
you're right. I think it does look like a game that's what I thought too. And I picked it up then on that platform. It seems like a good one to just in Mario Kart 8. When I play that just on the couch, I mean, it's fantastic. Those the little arcade racers, great to kind of chill and watch a ball game or something on the couch.
What it lacks in mode, it kind of makes up for with unlockables. I mean, there's so many, like there's, different parts you can put on your rides and whatnot. And there's a lot of customization that you can do. And you unlock that, by doing certain tasks, drifting, drafting, all that stuff. It all adds up and accumulates to you to unlock, cool parts. I mean, you can unlock a bobblehead to sit on your dashboard, but like the bobbleheads will be like the other drivers, which I thought was really, really cool. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like you got rival drivers, putting this bastard's bobblehead on my dashboard. You're going down, son. You know what I mean? Like,
nice.
I thought that was a really, really kind of neat touch. Little things like that I appreciate.
I think we need every episode, man. Shane, your Instagram, you're buying all these great, like quirky titles. No, yeah. I haven't heard of most of them. This one I heard of, but we need like a segment. We need a Shane's gaming shelf or Shane's quirky titles or hidden gems with Shane. It's something.
There
man.
We go.
Yeah, think about that for next time. But we need we need that. We need bring it.
All right. I'll get a hidden gem for the next show. Let's do it.
All right, hidden gem it is. Let's give Shane a break because I want to hear about this game that he's got there. But Karl, what are you playing, buddy? Oh, and he's running for a beer too. So
good timing.
Perfectly timed. What are you playing, buddy?
Yeah, I've been playing just trying to get that backlog done. It's been a great year for just trying to get through some of these games that we've had sitting there for a while. So I've been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's Shadow, not Rise, mate. That's my mistake. I put Rise earlier, but Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Oh,
I saw a good friend to the show, Tim Paulin, playing through this on one of his streams, and I was like, man, I've got that game. I need to play this thing. And it's been a while since I played an Uncharted kind of game, so jumped into this, and I'll tell you what, it's been a couple of years since I played Rise of the Tomb Raider, and only played it once, but this game takes off straight from where it ends.
It's a great game, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Oh man, so good.
Rise is a great game, and that's kind of set in the snowy mountains and stuff. And this is a polar opposite. You're in South America. You're in lush green rainforests, and you got mudslides and just crazy weather just going off. And basically, you're kind of following Trinity after the Rise game, and you're trying to stop the end of the world, as you always are in these kind of games. And you kind of end up in like another one of the mystical cities forgotten by man, never kind of discovered in the modern age, Paititi. And it's just a really nice story. I remember playing the first game, and it was kind of like, oh, Lara's back, bit of a reimagining, took a lot from Uncharted. Rise, I think, just built upon it, and it, perfected a lot of the things that you enjoyed in that game. And this, I heard a lot of people say this game kind of, peddles the same format. Maybe it's a little bit tired. I actually enjoyed this story more than the other ones. It really kind of grabbed me. The environment's just like in number 2. They're not particularly varied. I guess you're in South America. It's hot. It's humid. You're kind of in and around the a few different countries down there. But the gameplay has just been refined again a little bit more. It just handles that a little bit better. Cutscenes and story kind of parts are just a little bit more immersive. You get to see Lara as a kid. It kind of embellishes a little bit more on her growing up and her dad and the relationship, what happened to him. And it feels like a really nice rounded out way to finish the trilogy, I guess, of those games. You really feel like at the end of it, she is Lara Croft, been through a lot in these games. Like, she gets battered, she gets knocked from pillar to post. But in each game, I think you do see the character develop, and this is no different. You see a lot of a compassionate side of humanity. How she feels about different characters, and how she's trying to help, she's trying to do the right thing, and always driven by by being honest and being being true to herself and to the things that her dad taught her when she was a kid. So yeah, the mechanics are the same. There's little tweaks to it here and there. You can craft more outfits and things, like you can get raw materials from the animals, from the things in the jungle, and you can actually make from scratch whole outfits which give you perks and give you benefits to play in the game. So might make you more stealthy, or perhaps it gives you more powerful weapon abilities or skill tree abilities and things like that. So that's pretty cool. It's more Tomb Raider, but I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I jumped into the backlog to play it. It took me probably about 20 hours though to get through it. It didn't feel short. And yeah, I did go off the beaten pack a bit, and kind of dumped in some challenge tombs and things like that, and crypts and things. But yeah, I really dug it. Really enjoyed it.
This is on my backlog too, man. I hope I can get to it. Here's a sad reality of us gamers and our addiction. I pre-ordered this game, and I have never played it.
Mm-hmm. Been there, man.
Yeah, it's sitting on my shelf. I got like some special like metal case edition through Best Buy or whatever, but man, I would like. I've had a good year, and I'm going to finish strong. Winter is coming. Be shut in even worse than we're already shut in with this pandemic. But I'll have to push this up the list, because it looks like a darker version of Rise of the Tomb Raider, a little bit more fighting, from what I recall. So yeah,
there's definitely there's almost parts in it where you do feel like you're a hunter. It's in the jungle. You're up in the trees. You can kind of shoot people with bow and arrows, string them up by the legs, like almost like you feel like Predator. Sometimes you kind of mud yourself up and hide against a wall, and you can jump out and stealth kill people. And it feels like as each game goes, you're just getting that little bit more, hardened, I guess, and just becoming more like the Tomb Raider. The confidence comes through and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, I definitely worth playing, mate. Depending what you've got in your backlog, obviously, but it just ticked my boxes. I was like, I want to get this done. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that's a huge game. I'm almost there with that in the backlog. I want to get it done before Valhalla, but this was a nice little side track. Play this alongside it and jump in and out. So definitely worth pushing up your list.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 is the other game that here on Halloween, Shane, remember?
Yep.
You and I are going to play through that.
Oh, yeah.
That's before you know it, it's going to be Halloween. So besides that, my backlog I've done a good job tackling the backlog. So I'm push this way up the list. But here's a game Shane's going to talk about next. I've had my finger over the buy button for a little while. I haven't yet pulled the trigger. I'm really not into WWE wrestling, and I know Shane's not either. I imagine he is more like me as a kid. The Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man, Jake the Snake Roberts. My guy was Mr. Perfect. Shocking.
Really, Kurt Hennig, the legend.
No, Mr. Wonderful. Excuse me, Paul.
Paul Orndorff.
Yes, that was my guy, right?
Oh, legend.
Yeah, but just the old school wrestlers. You know, when I was a kid, I was into it, and then I grew up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not. This is just like a. Yeah, I won't rip on wrestling.
Yeah, fair enough.
About to offend some people there, but I saw this and I saw the old school. I've been looking for an old school wrestling game forever, and they never seem to get it right. They never get it right. I don't want to play the new WWE because I don't even know who these people are. I have no clue. You know, but when you chuck a bunch of the old school wrestlers in, like this one did, and there's newer ones too, and some ladies and all the stuff that all the modern wrestling fans would get into. Hovering over the buy button, but I read it's like Super Smash Brothers, punch, kick, like you can't articulate a suplex or a body slam, and that has sort of turned me off a little bit. So when I saw on Instagram that Shay was playing this, I'm like, dude, you got to talk about this. I want to hear. I might buy it, but it's very convenient timing. I saw you just over the weekend put it on our Facebook, on our Instagram. All right, help me out. Should I buy this game? I'm a fan of them old school wrestlers. I just want to have some arcade fun with a wrestler. Right. Is this a good game? I mean, like, get into it, man. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, man. You and I, man, we have the same kind of thoughts. You know, like growing up, I'm like, you know what? There's never going to make a good wrestling game. It's just impossible. Like it's tough. I mean, outside of like SmackDown on the PS2, you know, and WrestleFest, I think, is probably the best wrestling game of all time.
The
arcades.
Yeah.
Incredible. And that's what the genre needs, is quality arcade, over the top, button mashing, none of these mini games trying to pull off, you know, a move or anything. No. You just want to have fun, have it over the top, flashy, look good, and include the classic, you know, the golden era of wrestling, those old school WWF superstars. That's what you need, right?
That's right. Totally.
So this game is made by the same folks that did NBA Playgrounds, which is kind of NBA Jam-ish. So, you know, they've got, you know, decent pedigree, you know, for sports games. They know what they're doing, right? The NBA Playgrounds games were pretty good. You know, They weren't NBA Jam, but they were pretty good. And this kind of builds on it, and it kind of also builds on the old WWE All-Stars that came out on PS3 and was it PS3? Yeah, it was PS3, Xbox 360 and whatnot, which was another, they kind of tried to take another more arcadey over the top approach to it. This is definitely there. It's really cool. It's fun. Looks really good. You know, all the wrestlers kind of look like action figures and whatnot, which I'll get to in a second. But it does have a lot of those old school wrestlers that we all grew up with. Guys like Jake the Snake, Sergeant Slaughter, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Yokozuna, Shawn Michaels, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the People's Champion, The Rock, you know, The Big Show, Rey Mysterio, Edge, you know, all these guys. Mankind. Who didn't like Mankind when he came out? You know, fantastic stuff, right? So they have all these characters. There's a ton of them. There's probably about 70 or so characters in the game. Oh, wow. So you got a good handful of old school guys, you know, not crazy, but good handful of those. And there's a lot of new people. I have no idea who a lot of them are and whatnot, but they included a lot of the, you know, the female side of wrestling has come a long way. And, you know, hats off to Vince McMahon for, you know, fine tuning it and getting to a point where a lot of the women's matches are 10 times better than the dudes out there. And they've included a lot of the you know, the greats that are out there currently now. I mean, they got Charlotte Flair, who's, you know, Ric Flair's daughter. Whoa! And they got Asuka in there as well, which I think she's the most talented person on their roster. If I can be frank.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, they've got a really good roster in there, and I've heard they're going to add basically double their roster through DLC and whatnot. So there is that to come. So down the road, I'm sure we'll start seeing guys, you know, like the great Macho Man Randy Savage. You know, get those guys. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Mr. Perfect, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Junkyard Dog.
Oh, the JYD, son.
Yeah, but
got my picture with that guy.
I'm reading there's some microtransactions in here though, so that's had me a little worried. So unlocking these wrestlers though, right? You don't get them all at the jump.
No, you're sitting on about 20 of them at the start. And yeah, there's, a bit of a paywall that goes on in this stuff. And that's kind of where it's kind of, it's a bit iffy at times. Now, to unlock characters, you need to earn, there's coins in game and whatnot. And you can also get these gold coins that you can purchase with real money to speed that up. However, with the regular, coins in the game, you earn those after every match. And I've played a few hours in there and I've accumulated quite a bit where I'm to the point where I can unlock more characters. It's not horrible, but it's definitely going to take some grinding. It's probably going to take you 20 matches or whatnot. There's definitely
per character.
That's a little bit of an issue of, with the game. It is, when it comes out at $40, I mean, not the most expensive game on the world, definitely not the cheapest. Should get a little bit more, make it a little bit easier, to promote that. But, I get it, is what it is. I mean, it's part of gaming in a way. But the really cool thing about unlocking characters, and this really stand out, and it made me smile so big. Characters that are unlocked in this game just show up on the menu where you select a dude. When they're locked, they show up in like an old school blister pack. Like an old action figure. They're sitting in there, and it'll play like their theme music and whatnot, and then you'll see them, and it'll be like, boom, boom, boom. And they're kind of pounding on the plastic, the bubble pack. They're kind of pounding on that and whatnot.
Love it.
Kind of posing, getting those 24-inch pythons up, stuff like that. And then when you unlock them, they just give that blister pack a big boot. It comes flying off, and he's doing his thing. And it's so cool, and just a nice little attention to detail, real nice, just such a great animation that it feels so rewarding when you do unlock a character. I actually pre-ordered this because I've been waiting for just an arcadey beat 'em up, just a way to kill, an evening or whatnot. And when I pre-ordered, they gave me a bunch of the gold coins that you're supposed to normally buy. So I got a bunch of those. So I was able to unlock a bunch of characters. It's not impossible, but it could be a little bit better. And they're going to be following up with a lot of DLC for this. So I'm sure, we'll get a ton. We're getting a ton more wrestlers to go along with this. So I think in the end, I mean, it's going to be, fantastic and whatnot. Some of the level designs, there's probably, I think about 8 or 10 different kind of locations where they do this. And this is where it gets even more over the top, because there's one level that's you're in an automotive shop and they got the rings set up and there's a car on the hoist, and at the right time, if you throw a guy underneath the car on the hoist, the car comes slamming down to deal more damage to the guy. And you're fighting in the ring, doing all sorts of moves, suplexes, all these pile drivers and whatnot. And over time, the ring actually will kind of fall apart and fall down, and all the turnbuckles and the ropes come off and whatnot. And it's just a bit of pandemonium and whatnot. Good old fashioned slobber knocker, as they would say. Another great location is kind of like in the south, kind of Florida and whatnot, in the swamps. And there's a couple alligators. The fans are all there, but then there's a couple alligators, and you throw a guy into them, and the alligator try to eat him and stuff to deal more damage. And it is over the top fun. And I think they've got a lot of things right with this. But it's get past some of the paywall stuff and whatnot. Maybe a little bit down the road, if there's a complete edition or whatnot, or if you can get it on a little bit of a deal right now because of a bit of that paywall, maybe a couple other bucks to unlock some stuff right off the bat, might help your experience and whatnot. But the grind isn't too bad getting to that point. So I think it's cool, and I think it's refreshing for a wrestling game. I think it's very refreshing just to kind of see, just bring it back to the old school, just that old school button masher. And I'm having fun, smiling, seeing some of these wrestlers. They got, some of them got multiple different skins that you can use. You get the Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the NWO Hulk Hogan, stuff like that. So it'd be cool to see what they add over time and whatnot.
Yeah, the DLC concerns me a little bit. So if the DLC is going to be extra and you still have to do the grind. So for example, if you buy, and I would grind, I wouldn't put my hard-earned dollars down on the gold coins to get the wrestlers for just to open them all up. But if you're gonna buy DLC and then also have to put down your money in addition to open them up,
Yeah.
you know, if you're gonna give it the DLC, they should be immediately opened. But judging how the game is set up, I would imagine the DLC will also require grind, and there's a lot of racing games that do that as well. Forza, I hate that.
Agreed.
You know, here's a car in DLC or here's a wrestler in DLC, but you pay for them and you still don't have them. You still have to grind to get that. Now that's and NBA Playgrounds was the same way. There's amazing superstars from the NBA in the game, but you have to play 100 times to open them up. And that was frustrating to me. The other thing I read in the reviews, Shane, is that the controls are really simple and the wrestlers are very repetitive. So you'll have like 3 or 4 styles of wrestler, like a bigger dude, a skinnier dude, a faster dude, whatever. But there's not a lot of like separation.
Individuality.
Yeah, individuality. Thank you. Except for like the models and apparently the entrances where they have like the music and they have their which I think is cool. But from what I'm reading in reviews, I'm worried it's going to get repetitive. So how long have you played this and is it gotten repetitive for you yet?
I've gotten a few hours with it. We're recording a little bit early this week and it just came out a couple days ago. So, I mean, I've gotten a few hours into it. I don't mind the fact that there's only, a handful of different styles of wrestler because really, I mean, you're looking at, I'm playing as, so-and-so, your favorite dude and whatnot. And to me, that's kind of more important than having these guys with all their individual styles. I mean, it's more for the fun aspect of it. As far as the intros go, I can see a little bit of repetitiveness with that, and some of the moves, definitely. But games like this, and this is where the paywall really sucks, is games like this that are really arcadey, you want to have a whole list of different options and different characters to select as, and a whole list of different environments to do. You need that to get away from that whole repetitiveness. Because when games are repetitive, and they only have, X amount of characters and whatnot, you're going to get bored fast.
So if you're going to grind, you need like different backgrounds to the grinding. You need to keep the grinding
you got to
interesting.
freshen it up. Yeah, exactly. And have, different characters to use and whatnot. Like,
I'm
still part of the fun with NBA Jam was the fact that you had, you'd pick a team, but then you'd have so many different characters to choose from, including mascots and whatnot. So there's always a way to kind of keep that fresh, right? Time will really tell with this game. I'm not 100%, even though I pre-ordered or whatnot. I'm not 100% sold just yet. I think it's going to need a little bit more stuff added to it. There's a lot there from the beginning, but when you start thinking about that grind and how much work to, if you ultimately want to unlock all the characters, which, obviously you want to do, you want that variety, if somebody over, let's play a couple matches. Oh, wait, I can't pick him. You haven't unlocked it. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, how about Paul Orndorff or, whoever? Oh, shit, he's not unlocked. Okay, well, I guess that's going to kill the experience naturally, right? So, yeah, it's a fine line. That's the only thing I kind of don't like about it is just having to unlock so many characters. Like, I think they could have opened it up a little bit better or have them all opened and then just leave it for the DLC. Like have a bunch. I mean, obviously, you're going to make money when some of the all-time greats come out as DLC. You're going to make money. People are going to buy them, but they should have given a lot more, or a lot less to unlock from the get-go.
Yeah, it's the microtransactions, man, that are really turning me off. And there's a lot of people out there who are big into wrestling fans. I think they're trying to like take advantage of these people with the gold coins. Like rather than grinding through it, they're going to make I think it's a $40 price in the US. And for $50, you get like a bunch of coins that you can download. Some people, you can open some people up. You haven't sold me.
No, it's I'm
I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun, but I don't want to pay $40 to play Hulk Hogan and then see a bunch of dudes in bubble wrap that I can't get at.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like a good rental game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially with the microtransactions. It's primed for a freebie eventually.
100%. But when it is, I mean, the fun is there. It's just there's some things that just they need to, get a handle on a little bit better to make this a really memorable experience with this type of game.
It's got a good look to it too. I like the stylized characters and very action figure looking and over the top. The giant forearms and biceps and everything. It looks. I've been intrigued. We're over an hour and a half, man. We record a week early. We go really. It's like we feel like we're trying to fill 3 weeks worth right here. I mean, it's psychology of ABOG, right? But we should share our beers. I don't know if we need to take it out too long. I've got the official beer of ABOG. I've got a Chashmere. If you guys have ever heard of these people, 1840 Brewing, down in Bayview. Great little brewery. Love those guys. Thank you, Kyle. Tasty, good color, double IPA. I'm on my second because, willpower. What do you guys got?
I got going with a classic. It's been my favorite beer for a while. It's just a good old-fashioned Boombox Subsonic, my 4% IPA. Love these. Can have a handful of them. Still doing all right, so I like them.
Very light. The color of your beer there is almost like a yellow to my orange.
Yes.
Very, very lemonade looking beer you have there. Mine's more of a nectarine, at least from the look, not the taste. Karl, what do you got? You got something dark? I haven't seen your glass this whole time.
Yeah, no, I've been hiding it. I might land somewhere in between, but I think I'm closer to Shane's neck of the woods.
No, I think you are right in between. I think that's a smack dab between lemonade and nectarine juice.
So this is a pretty thick and juicy. It's a high roller, double dry hopped pale ale from Brew company in Middlesbrough in the UK. New brewery to me. I went into my little local beer shop and I was like, strange experience, like at the door, took my temperature, and he was like, I've got to do all the fridge stuff. And I was like, okay, I can't pick the cans up and have a look at them. So let's just look at the cool cans. And this brewery, I immediately thought of Cuphead. And you may, the minute you see this can, you may see. So each one of they do like kind of 3 beers at a time, and they're kind of themed. These are kind of gambling ones. This is the high roller. It's got a couple of little dice on there, and they've got like one with a slot machine and a couple of other things. Really nice little brewery. I stumbled across them completely by accident. I was literally, here's the money, dude, just pick me some beers out of the fridge. This is what I like. So, really nice beer. This is just nice and fruity. It's got little hints of that kind of just tangerininess. It's very smooth and sweet, but it's pretty bitter on the end, to be fair. So, yeah, and it's thick as well. Like you can't see through that. It's for 5.4%, it's surprisingly heavy.
Wow, that looks really good. We've got some tasty looking brews going on here, and we're over an hour and a half. It's like I've gone from trying to keep it into an hour to I don't give a shit yet at this point. I just feel like we should just we should just keep on going. So I'm going to raise my glasses to a glass. I'm not double fisting it. My glass to Shane and Karl here. These guys are the best. ABOG is about friendship. I don't know if we talk about this on the show as much as we do privately, but this podcast is all about the 3 of us, the friendship that we've made. I love these guys. They're fantastic. Because of that, ABOG is going to go on forever. I look back at, and this is going to get a little sappy here, but I've been thinking about this. I've been wanting to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. Been doing ABOG since 2012. A year into this, I lost my best friend to suicide. It was tragic. At the same time, I lost a co-host. And then as things work out, when you're focused on positive energy, sometimes you can overcome a tragic loss. And I haven't overcome Mike. Missed the hell out of that guy. But in doing this, I've found Shane and Karl, and they've come to me for the weirdest angles. But I am extremely, I mean, come on. I mean, we're like in Europe and you know, Canada and the US, but it's so special what we have here and the friendships I've made. I think about this all the time. When I think about the grind that it is doing a podcast for going on 9 years, I'm like, as grindy as it is, as tough as it sometimes is, and as expensive as it is, it's all about these two guys. So cheers to you, Shane and Karl. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. And as long as there is us, there probably is ABOG. Cheers.
Bless you.
Cheers, my friend.
Yeah.
Cheers. Feelings mutual.
Sappy.
Love it, though. You're the best, you two.
Yeah, I don't think we talk about that on the show a whole lot. But I've seen a ton of podcasts come and go. Yet we're still going. We're not the biggest thing since sliced bread. We're not huge, you know, but we put effort into this, right?
Yeah.
We try and do a good show. We're not lazy about it. It's not just about the friendship. We're trying to make your experience listening good. But at the end of the day, man, it is all about the three of us and the friendship. So it's pretty damn special. And I hope someday soon we get the three of us back together again. And because that was, talk about special. Like, God.
Yeah.
I wish we could do that every other week. And we probably will. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, mate, it's a lovely thing to say. In a world that is at the moment just in such a crazy place, it's nice to take a moment and appreciate your friends, you know, your friends, your loved ones, your family. Like, you know, these two boys, you know, my best friends in the world, and I wouldn't be without them at all. And it's crazy, you know, all the bad things that the internet has given us, and you know, the ability to talk to people over the other side of the world has genuinely changed my life for the better. So, you know, I'll cheers right back to the pair here. This show is amazing. You two are amazing. So, yeah, pick up yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, bless you. Appreciate it. And we'll be back in 3 weeks. For you, 2 weeks. Take care. Until next time. And when we come back, we have to I'll have to share whether or not I pre-ordered an Xbox, because I'm going to try not to, but I've got it on the calendar. We shall see. Oh my God.
You have to stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, have to stay tuned. Which one will I keep? Who knows?
Ooh.
That's right.
Ooh.
Until next time, take care.
All things considered, I think I feel fine.
Ooh, yeah. The Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah. Freak out. Yeah. You're listening to the cream of the crop. Yeah. Band of Gamers podcast. Ooh, yeah. Dig it.
Your Bubbles impression is much better.
I've lost a lot of friends that seem
You never know what additional gold content you might need.
Gold content. Thought it was cinematic, but goes into gameplay.
Poured that one a little fast. Pulled a Karl on that one. Look at that.
No, dude, that's actually decent. I wouldn't mind that in the boozer. It's not like if you reverse that. If you reverse that, that'd have been like mine last week.
so is only that I shot.
Get a case of Klitz. Coors Light iced tea.
Oh, God. Klitz.
Worked with a guy that loved those things and drink them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
All right, here we go. Are you ready?
We recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going.
Okay.
Let's go.
All
Let's go tear into it.
Hang on. Hold up.
Let's get a gargle out.
Okay.
I was going to eat licorice. Okay. Apple.